other stuff on
No other
Tuesday,
extra party.
Wednesday on bingo.
Okay, well, I got another two tester, test it, see what's
Wrong.
in. Yeah. It's like your hands don't know how much you want for it. I just want to get one.
It just wanted you to put it in 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Retested.
Oh, goodness.
How are the trees at your place?
Yeah. Tree limbs everywhere.
But you have your roof.
No, you're right.
Now, yeah.
I was looking at the name.
Replace it like
Your husband, well, you definitely are.
Yeah, I was
Jesse Austin is our
before he ran.
Who?
It's right next to Brian.
Jesse, you said? Oh, okay.
Roots and everything.
Look at the palm trees. Nice.
I guess somebody had the key to the place or something.
Probably.
Yeah, I seen that.
One of our board members.
Up there's one in the con orchard down the road on 114.
All over.
Yeah.
One of the big ones. Big ones are all still there.
I went to Bridgeport with diesel for the generator as soon as the storm allowed me to, and I saw all kinds of
I
wind.
started working here almost 5 years ago.
Was it after Teresa left?
Well, I started with reasons.
Okay.
So Mom and I were on the back porch, smoking a cigar,
She left.
and it got really crazy, and I saw lightning like strikes, and I'm like, no, we're going in now.
Yes,
And we're not gonna be out here. He's like, no, we're fine. I'm like, we're going in.
Yes.
Put your cigar out. Get another one later.
If I like, you'll know.
Go outside.
Right now.
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna hit Oklahoma.
It's going north there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going.
Well, one of the shelters got hit, Kate.
Like, so you got gone.
Yeah, it's been going. Just from last
Is there
year.
any tape over
We had
there?
our little rains this spring.
There's a lag, so we started early.
You already looked at it?
All right, are you ready? All right, it is 6:01, so I call to order this regular meeting of the Paradise City Council. Can I get a roll call, please?
Matthew Whitten here.
Amanda Black here.
Cody Cook here.
All Fox here, Cody Anderson here.
All right, we do have a quorum. Let's also go for the pledges and the invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Hey, Mr. Taylor,
Yes,
would you mind leading us in a little invocation, please, sir?
Thanks, sir. Abba, Father, as we gather in your presence, Father, to do the business of the city, Father, we ask your Spirit to be with us, and we ask you to give your providence and giving guidance and wisdom to those who have to make important decisions. Father, guide them and help this community as it grows and can prosper, be the best that it can be. We pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, sir. All right, take it away, Mr. Wilburn.
Amen. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and our visitors. Up here on the screen, I have our important dates coming up. On the 26th, we have Memorial Day. It's the whole reason we're having the council meeting today instead of next Monday. Juneteenth coming up in June, Independence Day starting on the 3rd and the 4th of July. Moving on, man. It's a pretty light agenda today. I have a few briefs for you. First, in just a few seconds, we'll start off with Meals on Wheels. After that, we'll talk about the interlocal agreement with the Sheriff's Office in New Fairview for police services. After that, a brief about the City Public Information Officer. After that, Mr. Jim Taylor, did I see? There he is. Mr. Jim Taylor is going to step up and talk about Main Street Festival. Then we have a replat request for a nearby residence. And then lastly, some outstanding questions from last month about TMRS. And so with that, I will turn it over to Wise County Meals on Wheels.
That was fast. Do I need to state my name?
Please do.
Hi, I'm Amy Pegues, the Director of Wise County Committee on Aging, the providers of Meals on Wheels for Wise County. also the Senior Center in Decatur, Texas, and Senior Transportation. Since October 1st, and this is why I've given all of y'all our nice little flyers, we have had over 432 seniors on our Meals on Wheels program. Out of those seniors, 111 come from Paradise alone, and 16 of them are on our program right now. Our biggest problem right now is we have everybody on a holding list. Due to federal cutbacks starting in '23, our funding has been cut back, not just the normal 100,000, but 250,000. We can no longer put any new clients onto our Meals on Wheels program unless somebody comes off of our program. Oh, okay. So with that being said, we wanted to come to all of the cities and tell them what all we do and how we do it. We feed our seniors 5 meals a week now. We were doing 7, but now we're doing 5. Paradise is kind of a interesting quasi area, just like everything else in Wise County. Half of our clients here are on daily meals, so we're going up and around just on the outside of Paradise proper and inside Paradise proper. So we're delivering 5 days a week for some clients. Some clients live too far out, and we're only going to them once a week. When we go to them once a week, we're delivering 1 hot meal and 4 frozen meals. Plus, we deliver groceries to our clients. Whenever we can get extra groceries from the food bank, we're delivering extra groceries. We're taking care of as many people as we possibly can in Wise County. And that's one of the reasons that we're coming to all the mayors. This year is going to be a hard year for us because we just don't have the funding. The extra funding is not there as it had been in years past with North Central Texas Council of Government, who gets their money from the HHSC, federal part of the government, which is Older American Statesmen Act. So we're just asking everybody if they can help us and how can you help us. We're going to have a lot of fundraisers this year. One of the things that we have proposed is a motorcycle rally, and we'll be talking about that with all the mayors on Wednesday.
A scooter.
That's right, get out there on a scooter, and how people can help. What we're asking is for help in any way you can, whether it is financial help or whether it is manpower help. If we had somebody from Paradise that was coming over to pick up meals from us and deliver them daily, that would take a lot of burden off of the volunteers that I already have. And I know I'm on a short time span, so I'm being
I
good.
know you're very
Not going
passionate
over.
about it. Do you have a rough number of like per senior that you serve per day? Like
190.
oh,
190.
no, I mean like an amount. Like if you had to say it's about X amount per meal or X amount per senior per day or X amount
$8.75, I think is what we've got in here, is $8.75 per meal, per day,
I must have
per
missed that.
person. We may have had it on this one, we may have had it on a different
Okay.
one, but $8.75 to
$8.75
$8.85
per meal.
per meal.
Okay.
And that is regardless whether that meal is a home-delivered meal or a congregate meal.
So that's
We're
just a
serving
good average.
We're serving the same thing at both places, and we have people from Paradise that are coming up to our senior
Sure.
center on a daily basis receiving fresh meals.
And you do 5 per week.
And at the senior center, we have our own food pantry, which does help out with funding because we're allowed to get the community service dollars from people that are having, that judges say go do community service. So we're able to get that money because we have that senior center and we have a pantry to be able to give food to our seniors, which means more to them than anything else because they're not having to go to Warren to get food. They can come to us and get things immediately.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. Do y'all have any questions on Meals on Wheels? Okay. I can tell you they recently sponsored the bingo games at the Rotary Spring event. The first gentleman and I helped call bingo that day. It was fun.
Thank you for having me and letting me speak tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So, while y'all are here,
Yes.
Mr. Jim Taylor here is the president of the Paradise Historical Society. And later on in this meeting, he's going to be briefing about the Main Street Festival that he's having in September. And there is a car show, and there are all sorts of booths set up for that event.
They're in the booth.
They're
Yeah.
already in.
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute. My DAR chapter has been having a booth here for, I don't know how many years, doing Wreaths Across America. So yes,
So-
yes, we have,
If y'all are looking to do a fundraiser in the city, this might be the correct gentleman for y'all to talk to.
yes. And Jim used to volunteer for us.
Well, I knew he was a model citizen.
He is.
So thank y'all very much.
Yeah, I bet.
We'll be
Yes,
talking
sir.
about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Next, this is a brief over the interlocal agreement for police services. It's the sheriff's deputy resident coming to serve in Paradise. So this item this is not currently the time to vote on it, but this is an item that will be coming up in the deliberation agenda. So we've briefed a couple times in the past several months about how the resident deputy program, as it has existed in Wise County, just has not been working very well for the cities. Over the past couple of years, the city has set aside a significant amount of money anticipating that resident deputies would come in their off hours and spend their time in the city. And at the end of each year, it turns out that we only paid out, single-digit hours for the entire year. And so we have a new sheriff, Sheriff Melima, who is really looking to be involved in each of the different municipalities inside Wise County, and he wants to completely revamp the program. In fact, he doesn't even want us to call it the Resident Deputy Program anymore. And so I'm going to try to stay away from saying that. What he's trying to do instead is say, hey, you have a funding problem, I have a funding problem, let's put our resources together and figure it out. If y'all will pay for the position, I will pay for the vehicle and the training and the firearm and the evidence locker and everything else. And so even with that offer, the Paradise City budget is not quite large enough to accommodate a whole position. A police officer costs about $90,000 just for his salary. And so the agreement that we worked out was if Paradise takes half and New Fairview takes half, we can split the cost of hiring on a full-time deputy who's dedicated towards providing police services in our communities. And so the ILA that I sent out in the packet over the weekend is an ILA that splits this deputy position between New Fairview and Paradise. On average, the deputy would spend 20 hours in each community. Now, there are going to be some times where the deputy might happen to spend 22 hours in one city and 18 hours in the other. That would get evened out down the road. There are going to be some times where the deputy has to go to training or go to the pistol range or has to respond to a call, an emergency out in the county, and that's fine. But the point is, on average, 20 hours of service weekly. The position costs about $90,000. Therefore, our annual costs would be about $45,000. In the budget amendment that y'all approved last month, it already factored in this cost for the rest of the fiscal year. Now, there's one hiccup in this that I need to explain to y'all. In the packet that has already been provided to you, the interlocal agreement that was already given to you. So Wise County Court has already approved that ILA, and the city of New Fairview has already approved that ILA. We just recently completed our legal review within the city of Paradise, and there are a couple of word changes that we're going to want to see that kind of clarify liability between who's responsible for if things go wrong in an arrest or something like that. And so what I don't want to do is we approve an ILA that's different from what's already been approved, and then we throw it in their face and say, here, approve this again. We decided we don't like it. That would go over like a bad thing. And so what I'm going to ask of y'all later today, in the deliberation portion of this agenda, if y'all would be willing to go ahead and approve this ILA, but also empower me to go back and negotiate a contract amendment with some updated language just to clarify the liability between our different organizations. That's my ask. Are there any questions for me?
Nope. Carry on.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, Public Information Officer. It's just a standard thing within municipalities in Texas that the city secretary is appointed as the Public Information Officer. It hasn't been done in Paradise yet, so I put it on this agenda to just go ahead and take care of it. If we appoint the city secretary as the Public Information Officer, that allows her to set some rules, some basic rules about how public information requests come to the city. It allows us to put a portal on the website that's, we can say, hey, submit your public information requests here, and direct people to send us their questions by mail or email. As it is, we just have to take it however it comes, and it can be really disorganized. So this is standard practice. I put this on the consent agenda for later today. Any questions on this item? Okay.
Next.
Moving on. Main Street Festival. So I'm going to speak real quick and then turn it over to Mr. Taylor. So if y'all recall, last year we talked about the application process for special events, how our ordinances outline certain requirements, including insurance in coordination with emergency services and maps that lay out where everything's going to be. And y'all provided me with the directive to go ahead and create a formal application process for these special events. So with our Laserfiche software that y'all approved a few months ago, we have now an active functioning web application process that Mr. Taylor has already filled out. He's our guinea pig for this process. And he got it in well ahead of the 90-day timeline. So good on you. I really appreciate you, sir. There are a couple items with the maps that I'm going to ask for clarification on, but we are well ahead of the game.
I can help live with that.
Well ahead of the game when it comes to the application process. So this is going to be the 19th annual Paradise Main Street Festival, and I think that's amazing. It's going to be on the 27th of September from 6:30 a.m. for setup until teardown at 4, right here on Main Street between Schoolhouse Road and 2nd Street. You all have attended Main Street festivals before. So with that, sir, I'll turn it over to you so you can give.
Okay.
You want me to pass these out?
Well, I can pass that. I got one better by that, I think. The only problem with technology is you have to remember that I grew up with a big teeth tablet and number 2 pencil. So even though I filled it out, I tried to answer all the questions concisely and appropriately, but one thing I had a problem with was trying to come up and work with the map and draw in a map. And me and maps didn't go well. I can do PowerPoint, which I should have thought, so I'll just do it and save each one. So if you don't mind, what I've given you is kind of a quick PowerPoint, and I can answer all the questions, most of the questions as Chance had us outlined to go through it. The one thing on the first page is just basic general level, covers everything. I do have to apologize. I think we said last year we asked for the 19th, but unfortunately this is the 19th because if my information is now correct, the first Main Street Festival was 2006. Okay. I was around, but I don't remember having a part in it. Now I've only had about the last 10 to 15 I have had a part in. So I can attest to those. I can't test to those. So I'm going to apologize that we gave you the wrong information. If you notice, I'll go to the next page. There's a boundary at the Main Street Festival, barricade locations. Basically, barricades are at 2nd Street and Main Street, right here, kind of where the restaurant is. It's at 3rd Street at the fire hall, just about at the corner of the fire hall building. It's at 4th Street at the alleyway for the Baptist Church, at 5th Street at the alleyway for the church. Then it goes up to Main Street and Schoolhouse Road, and it's on Main Street side of Schoolhouse Road. come back down to the Church of Christ on 5th Street at the alley, at the First Christian Church on 4th Street at the alley, and then back to 3rd Street, right, well, not past, but just before the alley at the back of the school, at the city's parking lot. The only facility that's really outside that perimeter is we have the quilt show that's located inside the fellowship hall of the Methodist Church. Otherwise, you could draw a little square and the Main Street Festival fits inside all your boundaries there. The next page was a question about where the EMS would be. And I have, based on that, last year we started right at the corner of 3rd Street at the fire hall. I reserved that, almost that part of 3rd Street for the EMS truck. They were there last year for about 10 minutes, all right? They were there through the opening, and at the end of the opening, they got the call left. So that is where they are reserved for right there. I have a reserved spot for them. The fire hall is open, and the museum is open, so we have 2 facilities that are open for events. If we have any other emergency entrances, the access, they come in on 3rd Street. Actually, they come in on 3rd Street or Main Street at either end. We'll just have barricades, and if they had to have emergency, they can come in either way on that side. The next place is the porta potties. So we use 6 porta potties, and they're located at 3rd Street across from City Hall. They're located at First Christian. I got teased about them. For many years, I put them on the First Christian Church side because there was not anything located there. And then apparently some of the members thought that I was saying something about First Christian, so they're now located across the street from First Christian, but still there. So, and then the third set is at the 5th Street, across the street there on 5th Street from the Church of Christ. Next one is the public address system. The main PA system, as far as control, is in the corner of the fire hall on the southwest corner. The first speaker is located at the corner of 3rd Street outside the fire hall, pointed toward City Hall, or pointed down this direction. The next speaker is located just outside, just really kind of in front of the Veterans Park in the middle of the street, pointed straight down. There is one other speaker system that's located down by the Baptist Church in their back parking lot that's for the car show. The car show has a separate DJ that they've had for years because the car show kind of is somewhat a little bit independent because they have a whole lot of different prizes that they give to different members of the car show, as well as some drawings and things that way. So they've had their own PA system or their own DJ. The DJ they've been using for the last, ever since they started, decided to retire. So they're kind of scrambling about what we can do. The other thing is the 2 speakers we have, the speaker basically, the sound will end almost between City Hall and the museum. That's about as far down as you pick up good sound. Going the other direction, right about the corner of the First Baptist Church, right between the First Baptist and First Christian, right there, that's about as far as the sound goes. I've invited the guy that does this for us to come in for tomorrow night's meeting, and we're going to see if there is a possibility if we could expand out to give better sound system all the way down. And if also, because the car show for many years could not enjoy the music. We have some good entertainers, but if it's a car show, you can't hear it. If you hear it, you're going to hear something only faintly. So, but again, we don't know.
You just have to come down here and listen.
You know, and that's why we send them down here for the food. But anyway, so right now, my plan is, we'll go with these 2 speakers. The one about the DJ, we're not sure about, but that's where they are. So those will be the location for speakers, if you saw those. Next page is the vendor booths, and I got a couple things on that one. Vendor booths are start at the corner, start over here at the end of the post office. They go up and they stop at the post office, a driveway. They go up a little bit further and they stop where I leave 3rd Street open so we can EMS get out. A little jab in front of the fire hall. And then after the fire hall, I skipped the driveway for the little trailer house. I don't know if anybody's there, but we skipped the driveway just out of courtesy. And then they go all the way up to the corner of the Baptist Church on that side. On the other side, they start here at the museum. They go to 2nd Street and then 3rd Street. Then at 3rd Street, we go then all the way up then to the fire hall. The vendor booths are arranged or set up so that I use the white line as the point of reference, and then I mark about. I use an 18-inch marker on either side, and I number the booths. The booths are numbered on sequential order, even and odd. The even numbers are on the City Hall side. The odd numbers on the Fire Hall side. The only one place that I don't put them on put the booths on the white line is right here in front of City Hall. The reason I don't do that is because if I push the booths out to the white line, then Browns and Hometown Teas and Mrs. Young's, you couldn't see them. They get blocked off. So I pull them back off this way, and that way then that opens up so that those businesses down there can be seen and feel like they're being participated in or so. Basically, around 101, 2 or 3 is the numbers I use. So that's 103 spaces. Now, the other thing is remember that, for example, on a food trucks I allow 3 spaces to. So that would be 36 feet for a food truck. And for most people, that would accommodate anybody, either the food truck itself or if somebody is pulling a trailer, so they can pull in and have that there. Electricity is I borrow from y'all here on the porch. I borrow from First Baptist. First Christian has it, but never can have it. I've also borrowed from on the porch here at the museum, and then our guy who does Shepherd's, but does our speaker. We have the power at our Veterans Park. We'll run out. We run plugs so that we have power there. That's all the power I have, and I put it out as first come, first served. If you want power, you get in early. And it's really got to where that I have fewer and fewer people ask for power. Most people, if they do it all, sometimes, with as quiet as generators are, the first year we had generators, that was a fiasco. They cranked the generator up and you couldn't hear yourself think no matter where you stood. But now most generators are quiet and not a problem. The next one is the car show or the breakdown. Live entertainment. It's at the fire hall. It starts at 9:30, and I basically change out on half hour. So 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, and that's about the end of it. This year we have, I've already contacted 5 or 6, we have people. I've had 2 people that weren't able to be with us last year that have asked to come back. Dickie Greenwood is one of them, if y'all haven't heard Dickie, and the other one is Andrea Smith, and maybe Colin, maybe. That's those 2, but those are 2 that weren't here last year for good reasons, and maybe they'll come back. So we have some other groups that come in. So the fire hall is live entertainment. Go down to First Baptist Church, and basically the south parking lot of the First Baptist Church is a car show, but it overlaps from their parking lot across the street and down. A car show has as little as 60 to 65. One year right after COVID, we had 125 cars. We haven't achieved that mark again, and we probably averaged somewhere probably around 75 now. So when I say cars, that includes cars, trucks, and even some motorcycles. So 75 cars. So you can imagine you start parking. And then when the Baptists had to redo their system, and we couldn't park everywhere, that took out a bunch. So we now stretch, car show goes basically across the street and down, and they fill out on 5th Street on Church of Christ. That's where they're going to be too. The tractor show is basically in front of the Church of Christ. Tractor show has been consistent about 10. Last year we had 15. They have been asking us for years, and we finally broke down and did last year to have a tractor parade. And so last year we had our first tractor parade. It went very well, except for the very last tractor. I got tickled. The very last tractor came around, got past the fire hall, and died. And just decided he didn't want to go any further. He wanted to stop right there. So they got that. So we're thinking we probably will go. My plan is to go ahead and invite the tractor show back again as a part of our opening ceremonies. Anyway, the other thing is in the First Methodist Church, the quilt show. That's Gary Reed's area, and for me to tell you how many quilts are there, I would have to lie to you. There's a bunch, but other than that, I don't know. And since the quilts are a lot more, they need to be protected, that we've had it inside the First Methodist for as many years as I can think of. We've had it, so they're in there safely. Next question that we had that was about signage locations. We have two-sided banners. The first banner is there at the Triangle or by the city sign on Main Street at 114. We put one there. And then if you go down, not quite to the park, but on the west side of 114, we put one there in the right-of-way area right there. So those are two places that we put two-sided banners that are about 12 feet wide, 10 to 12 feet wide long. The rest of them, we utilize what I call political yard signs. I don't know how else to describe them, but that's the way we do them. And those are scattered around on Main Street, going from Schoolhouse Road back toward the bank, then coming across, going on 3259 by the rail tracks and on down that way. We then go down 114 some ways on Schoolhouse Road and back that way. So then we do have some other signage that we'll put up a little bit closer that will tell people car shows to go around, come around by the Dollar General, and other than that. But those are kind of basically a good place for you to get a feel for where you could expect to see signage. Signage generally we'll try to put up sometime the week before. Well, the two-sided signs we might go up as much as 10 days before. The other single signs are much the week before, and usually we'll have those taken down as part of our cleanup. Those come down the day when we finish. I have the copy of the liability. We're in discussion with those because it's, in fact, if you look back at the same one I gave you last year because it hadn't expired yet. And so, but I've contacted them. I think we expire in June, and contacted them to let them know. One of the things that with questions were asked in that one is for names of who the vendors are. I can't tell you. I mean, I don't know because as of this point in time, I have zero. So I could tell you who I had last year, but who I had last year may or may not be this year.
Right.
The other thing about food vendors that we talked about, I have sent out 2 email blasts, if you want to call them. I covered every vendor that I've had for the last 3 years. I sent them an email inviting them to come back. But then I also, in that email, I made a note that all the food vendors would be required to meet the obligations of if they're not a hometown, they don't fit with what the cottage industry, they require a state permit and require a city permit. And so they're going to know, it's kind of like, just because they know what we're going to have, we'll have to then make sure when they come and they submit their application that they submit their application to us so we know about it. Security will be basically what we've been doing for years as the Wise County Sheriff's Department. Again, with the ILL, we may have our own guy right here on top of us, so that could be right here, so I don't know anything else. Are there any other questions, Chance, is there anything I missed?
No, sir, you did a great job.
I'm thinking, because I was looking, Chance and I talked about it, I said, Doug said, my problem was asking for maps, and I went to the Wood City, I pulled your map in. Now, some of you may be able to work with it, but this whole boy, I had fits. And so that's why I came back with this, and I can create PowerPoints, I can work with PowerPoints, but whatever. So that's what we have, and that's what our request is, to allow us to, once again, to have our 2025 Main Street Festival, which for this case will be our 19th, which I hopefully makes me look forward to next year, which will be the 20th, which I don't know, we're bound to have to have
Something
something.
special.
Yeah.
All right, no, I think it all looks great, Jim. I appreciate you putting all this together for us and being our guinea pig for our
Anyway.
special events.
The one thing I have been, I ask you if you will be, would you be
Am I welcome?
will you do the welcome to the city
sir.
as far as the opening?
You bet.
We'll do that between 9 and 9:30, and so you not to break your arms or anything like that.
No, I'll try not to show up with my arm in a sling this year.
Okay. Any other questions of me? I hope I've provided you the information that you needed.
I think so. Thank you
Okay?
again
Just
very much.
let me know, make sure I'm approved, so
Yeah. No, you're doing great. I like it.
Thank you.
So this item is not to be voted on, it's just a brief. The way that I'm interpreting the ordinance is that city staff has the ability to approve the permit application, unless y'all want to reserve that power for yourselves. But unless I receive word otherwise, I'll take these new maps that Mr. Taylor's given us and go ahead and make sure it's good to go before I issue the final approval.
let me know if there's anything else. I tried to look down, I keep thinking there's something on the list I didn't
Yes, sir.
fully answer.
Yes, sir. Oh, I appreciate you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am, any questions, council?
I'll bid you do that.
Good day.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Moving on. This is an item for the P and Z. So this is the final item that we'll do today. We'll transition between, we'll stop being the council and start being the P and Z, the very last item on the deliberation agenda. This is a very simple replat application, replat for 402 Oak Street. That blue box in the top right corner is City Hall. That red rectangle is the lot that is seeking a replat. When the city was originally platted by the railroad way back when, that lot was split up into 3 oblong, small rectangular plats. The applicant wants to build a house there, can't build a structure across plat lines, and so they're seeking to replat it as one residential lot. Very straightforward. We already had the initial pre-development meeting with the city engineer. The city engineer has reviewed the plans and approved them with 3 conditions. 1, that they need to label where the front yard is on their plan. 2, show the original lots, it's a formality. And 3, add the note about the drainage from the city. With that, here is the actual plat application for those of you who are schematically inclined. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you want a topograph?
A topograph
Yes, sir.
with the elevation and everything?
Yeah. Is that
It
what you
won't be
guys
necessary.
asked for? Okay.
No, sir. So, are there any questions about this replat to create a residential lot? Very well. Okay, final brief of the evening. So, last month, y'all approved us to begin participating in the Texas Municipal Retirement System. However, the question came up whether or not that participation was going to impact our Social Security and Medicare involvement. And so I spent the last few weeks talking with folks all over Texas about the way this works. And the bottom line up front that I have for y'all is that if we participate in TMRS, it will not impact Medicare. However, also, there does not appear to be an option for us to stop contributing to Social Security. And so, if we participate in TMRS, we would also still have to continue participating in Social Security. Okay, why is that? Well, at the federal level, the Social Security Administration has a distinct legal relationship with each of the 50 states. Every state has their own Social Security miniature administration. In Texas, that state agency is called the ERS, it's the Employees Retirement System. I reached out to them to talk about whether it was possible for us to stop contributing to Social Security. But what they informed me was that there is such a thing called a Section 218 agreement. It's Section 218 of the Social Security Code that establishes this relationship with cities. The bottom line is, once an organization, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, there was a dinging.
Not in the room.
You answered it, Paul. You don't have to hang up now. Okay.
All right. Once an organization begins issuing Social Security benefits to its employees, that organization is automatically looped in to this Section 218 agreement to provide what's called absolute coverage, and there is no way to get out of absolute coverage. Once you offer Social Security benefits, 99.999% of the time, there's no way to get out of it. Now, there are very specific legal circumstances where a city can offer Social Security benefits to some employees but not to other employees. For example, if we ever created a fire department and the fire department was covered by its own Social Security replacement program, then we could have the administrative employees covered by Social Security, but the fire department, hypothetically, might not. They would just be solely covered by their retirement plan under their civil service agreement. However, it would be pretty hairy for us to try to make that distinguishment right now. The most legally secure answer that I can give right now is that if we participate in TMRS, we also would have to continue participating in Social Security. Now, the amended budget that y'all approved last month included both TMRS and Social Security. And so the money is there for it. It's been approved. It's also worth noting that, the entire point of doing TMRS is to attract and retain qualified employees. And so when we look to our competitor, our benchmark municipalities in Wise County, Decatur, Bridgeport, New Fairview, Boyd, and Aurora, they all contribute to both TMRS and Social Security. Northlake and Dustin do as well, just as a note. I have talked to the employees. They understand that there would be a 6% deduction for Social Security as well as the 7% deduction for TMRS, and that is their preferred course of action. And so I give it to you now, understanding that this would result in an increased cost to the city. If y'all want to continue with TMRS, that's good to go. If you tell me to stop our process of joining TMRS, that's also fine. I'm handing it over to y'all for discussion.
I don't see any reason to change now. Anybody else?
We got the money.
And you might as well, budget for it while you have it, and then as you grow, you continue to work it into your budget. So it'd be better to start that process now while we're still small than try to do it later when we have more employees. So, question, comment, concern, complaint? Perfect. Moving on.
So this is not a voting item. The guidance that I'm taking from y'all is that we will continue with our approval from last month and continue to enroll in TMRS. Thank you.
All right, next up we have citizen communications. Alicia, do we have anybody sign up? Is there anyone who wishes to address the city council at this time? Okay, hearing none, we shall move on.
Ma'am, here is the consent agenda. There are two items. The first one being approval of the minutes from last month's meeting, and the second one being the resolution designating the city secretary as the public information officer for the city.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Wow, that's loud.
I gotta be so rough.
Showing off.
Under deliberation items, this first item is the interlocal agreement between Wise County Sheriff's Department and New Fairview and ourselves for law enforcement services. I remind you that this would be approval of this interlocal agreement as well as empowering me to negotiate the follow-on contract amendment.
Is there a motion to approve the ILO with the Wise County Sheriff's Office for 20 hours of dedicated deputy law enforcement, empowering the city administrator to negotiate an amendment to clarify some liability language?
After her.
What you said?
Yeah. I'll second. That was a lot.
Oh, well, hey, I gotta be clear. I got a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. That's all been recorded.
And then the final item for the evening, consider the preliminary plat request made by the applicant.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Motion to approve, and seconded to approve the replat. All in favor? And motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, this motion to adjourn, having completed all the business there is on the agenda, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. It is.
So what I will do